just roll the intro. So hey guys, welcome to the first episode of what I'm basically calling Behind the Scenes and Secret Sharing. Now, in this, I suppose, mini-series that I'll be doing over the course of the next weeks and months, I'm going to deep dive into the kind of behind the scenes stuff that I do in terms of figure photography. So if you follow me from Instagram, you'll know that I'm somewhat known now for that particular style of shot. It's a little bit of the setup that you see here. It's a little bit of streaming stuff, a whole lot of coffee mixed in, but more importantly, it's all the figure stuff that I tend to do. So today I just kind of wanted to walk you through, I suppose, how easy it is to actually do this stuff. You can do it on a shoestring of a budget. You don't need anything mega. You can really get away with using basic stuff and getting really, really cool results like these that I'm throwing up on the screen right now. So here's a little bit of an example of some of the stuff that I've been doing recently in terms of figure stuff. Now, a lot of this is homemade. I spent a long time looking through various different things, different, kind of props and tools and all this kind of different stuff for figure photography. But you can do it on a tiny budget. It doesn't actually cost as much as you would think, considering the results that you can get out of it. So without further ado, let's go. So here is a quick supercut of the process of how I made this particular diorama that I'm going to walk you through today. Initially, my plan was to use sculpting clay and sculpt on top of this piece of MDF a base that I would then paint and kind of dress up to look like a bit of a rocky scene. That's rocky as in like mountainous rocks, not the person. Now originally, like I said, the first plan of sculpting clay went way out the window, and I settled on using this polystyrene. Actually, I'd recently sort of upgraded my computer, and during the upgrade of that computer I ended up with a load of this polystyrene. I broke a little piece while I was in the workshop and realized that kind of knobbled texture on the inside would be really, really good for like rocky terrain. So that's what I used. I basically just chop up, don't be careful with a knife, guys. I chopped up a load of this stuff, broke it up with my fingers, tore it up, broke it apart, and started building these little kind of rock chunks that I would then use this adhesive to adhere that to that MDF background that I'm using. And as you can see here, this is just me kind of finding out the best layout for all of this and sticking it down the best that I can. And once all the base was down, it was then on to trying to seal all of this. I knew that just painting on top of this wouldn't work, so I used essentially like a plaster Paris mix, just this little mix here with water. Super cheap, you can get it from like modeling shops. It's not very expensive. Just throw that on top and let the whole thing harden. I left this for a good couple hours actually, just to go hard, and as soon as that had hardened fully to the touch, I then used plaster dip, as you can see here, to coat the entire top with plaster dip, and then allowed that to dry overnight. Fast forward to the next day, you can see here the plaster dip has done its job and completely hardened, and it was now time to paint. So I just took a load of different paints that I had and just started going crazy. No real kind of rhyme or reason to what I'm doing here. I was just trying to get different textures across the entire surface to kind of make it just look like rocks or rubble or that kind of thing. Final step in the process here is taking some terrain. Now this is actually from a model train set. Again, you can get these super cheap. They only cost a couple bucks. You just literally just tearing pieces off and kind of shoving it into these little nooks and crannies in order to make this look alive. you know, kind of make it look like there's moss growing on there. It's a bit overgrown. Again, the whole purpose of this base was to fit a wide variety of different scenes for characters. I was thinking superheroes in you know, kind of rubble and ruin that I could put a figure on top and you know, shoot there, or it could be a backdrop to a forest, or you know, there's all kinds of different applications for this when you're shooting up close with a lens, and this is basically the final result. So as you can see, this here is the finished piece, all dressed up, and now I'm going to super quickly show you guys how to shoot this and how easy it is in order to get really cool shots using this and just a monitor. So let's get to it. So a quick scene change later, this is where we are. I've got an idea at the minute that I wanted to take a relatively new shot for the up and coming God of War. As most of you know, I'm a massive God of War fan. Just saying. The new game recently got teased. They didn't give much away, but we did see one of these really cool graphics from the game, which again is like the Omega symbol with all of the runes and stuff in it. Super pumped. I wanted to kind of jump on board and show you guys super simply how we can use a background like this, and put the whole thing together in order to make some sort of cool figure shot. This is going to be the most ghetto thing you've ever seen in your life, I promise. Essentially what we're going to do, we're going to shove that down on there just so it gives this a stable base to actually sit on. We're going to move this accordingly. Now before I had the arm, I would literally stack up something to the same height as my monitor and we would go from there. This is then going to sit right there in front of the two, and we're going to dress things up accordingly. 2 seconds. So I return. No, this is not a bag of weed. This is fake grass. You could use real grass, doesn't really matter. I use this stuff that's from a model train kit, and essentially all I'm going to do is dress this up. Obviously, because I've got gaps and stuff in here, I'm going to fill up said gaps with some mossy like material just there. That'll make the whole thing look like it's you know, kind of blends into the scene. We're going to just drape a little bit into the cracks here as well, just to give it a little bit of dimensions here. That's it for the set. That is literally it. You can take your phone, you can come on here and hit portrait mode, and from here you could portrait mode this sucker just like this, zoom in, and that would do fine. Obviously I use a proper camera for all of my shots. I actually normally use the camera that I'm recording on right now, so I can't give you a full you know, kind of walkthrough of all of this, but essentially all you need is this right here. Shoot it on the background and you will get results like the ones I'm about to show you now. So there you have it, super quick, super dirty, just a rundown of how I do my shots. This is going to be the first of many. This is the kind of introduction to what I'm going to be doing here on YouTube, and then next we're going to walk through practical photography. We're going to walk through you know, smoke and fire, and how to get snow effects and rain effects and all that sort of stuff. This is the first kind of trick that's in my bag. A lot of my stuff on Instagram, you will see, uses this exact setup. I will basically just take this, I will launch a light on the figure. Currently it's on me, but normally I would just throw a light on the figure from both sides, light it from the top, whatever you want. Just chuck light on that thing, shoot it in portrait mode so you get that lovely bokeh effect, or if you're using a camera, just a low f-stop so all of this becomes blurred in the background, and then just go from there. So thanks for sticking by, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.